Welcome to episode number 2 of the Troy Brown Show, presented by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Appreciate you guys making us a part of your day, a part of your week. I'm Neil McCready. You might recognize Troy Brown there, Ole Miss linebacker. We're taping this on a Wednesday night, July the 6th. I just told Troy that I'm apologizing in advance if I'm a little distracted. My Oklahoma City Thunder are playing in a summer league game against the Memphis Grizzlies, and I've got Chet Holmgren fever, so I'm keeping an eye on that. So we might talk some hoops as well. Before we get rolling, let me tell you about Comer and Southern. It's different names, but it's the same great products, it's the same great services. It's hot outside. You may have noticed if your air conditioner is sputtering or not working, that's something you got to get resolved quickly. So if you live in the Oxford, Tupelo, or surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. Tell them that you heard about them at MPW Digital, at the Troy Brown Show, at the Oxford Exxon podcast. They'll come take care of you. Their service is amazing. Ask me how I know. We've had a couple of air conditioning emergencies here in the past, and their service is absolutely incredible. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, South Haven, Olive Branch, those areas, it's the same products. Again, same services, just different name. Call the people at Southern, and they'll help you out. 662-429-4429. Troy, how are you?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm good. So I'm sitting here watching NBA Summer League, which is usually a sign that you're a bit of a basketball junkie, and B, that your team sucks. And so you're hoping that the young guys are going to provide some hope. I'm watching Chet Holmgren and Ousmane Dieng and both of the Jalen Williamses. Josh Giddey's out there. So there's a little bit of hope. Thunder up by 10 as we tape this with 6:41 to go in the fourth. I know you played a lot of basketball. Is basketball sort of your first love?
It actually was. It was one of the things that actually got me into the athletic life. Well, more so behind the scenes type of thing, to where it became my lifestyle. Once I decided to become a full-time athlete, or I decided to chase a dream of being an athlete, it was basketball. So basketball did play a very huge part and huge role in how I grew up. So
now, are you a Pistons fan?
I'm a Bad Boys era. You know what I mean? Tayshaun Prince and and those guys. But
so we have an age gap here, because when you say Bad Boys era, what I think is Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars and Bill Laimbeer and John Salley and those guys. I don't think about Tayshaun and them. I think about the original Bad Boys.
Yeah, I'm also referring to those guys too. But then it goes until that era of Tayshaun Prince and Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, and those guys. But this era, I really haven't had too much liking to those guys. But like you mentioned, I'm liking Oklahoma City right now. I like Chet. I call him Chet You Betcha.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So are you a Cade Cunningham guy? Because last year I was hoping the Thunder would win the lottery so they could get Cade, and they didn't get him, and he went to Detroit. And now Detroit's got Jaden Ivey too, which is kind of a fascinating backcourt to build around, because those two guys are both dogs.
Definitely. Now we just got to see who they can get down in the paint. Somebody that's dominant, somebody that's nice, and we'll see what they talk about.
So what's this summer been like besides hot as hell the last couple of weeks? So what's this been like, kind of training and running and stuff in this heat?
It's been very eventful. I've been trying to get out of my comfort with new things. Well, not necessarily new things, but adjusting down here. Just last week, I started back getting into the shape to where I could do 2 workouts a day. So I went out on my own, and I got into a sand pit that was in one of these apartment complexes out here. And what do you know? The sand was fucking. Sand was. So I was
all right. No, you're good, because it was scorching hot.
Yeah, the sand. I'm like, I can't be on this sand. So I had to end up coming back later in the day. So, but. Number one, trying to work out earlier before this heat actually got there. So I went up and got up at 6:30. By the time it was 7 and I got done with my stretching and everything, it was already 85 degrees. So I'm like, man, this is something that I'm not used to at all.
So I was going to ask you about that, because that's like the stereotype, right? Is that the South is this different kind of heat and it's a different kind of humidity. I know it gets hot in Michigan. I've seen temperatures there where it's really hot, but is there a different type of heat that can you tell it when you're trying to work out and stuff?
Honestly, I feel like it's a more of a smothering heat here. It's like it's not dry like Arizona, because Arizona is dry because it's very elevated and stuff like that. But it's like a smothering heat to where it's not a lot of air around to where you feel your lungs tight. So it's very hard, you know what I mean, to not necessarily breathe in this environment. But I mean, once you're used to it, you're used to it. But for me, when I first, and then the heat first got here, it was just like, I mean, it was overwhelming to me.
How do you kind of get yourself mentally prepared for that coming in, in August when you guys are going out there and you're getting ready for the season and it's going to be that stifling humidity in early August? Is that something you have to kind of overcome in your head a little bit as you get going?
Well, definitely, because playing any type of environment, you know what I mean, just like how Southern teams have to prepare for them to go up north and play in environments such as rain, sleet, and snow and stuff like that. So I just feel like being a football player, you have to prepare mentally to play in all phases and all conditions. But being down here, we're finna have our first team run at 4:00, so where it's probably the hottest time of the day, if not one of the hottest times of the day tomorrow. So even have to prepare my mind for that. So we'll just see how it goes and just take it day by day.
I meant to ask you about this. We didn't talk about this pre-show, so I hope I'm not hitting you with a curveball here. There's a lot of talk about how Ole Miss has brought in all these transfer portal guys from all over the country, from different programs, Auburn and Central Michigan and Western Kentucky and all over the place.
Right.
Different guys, different walks of life, all that stuff. Is it difficult to build chemistry inside of a program, or is that something that we in the media and fans even overstate? Is chemistry, is it built over years, or can you build chemistry in months?
Sometimes it does take years. It takes the right people around you. It takes the right pieces and the right, the puzzle. But for us to all come to this program with the mindset that we're going to better ourselves, but also better our teammates, that I feel like that's what helps the bond come quicker. Because at first, sometimes people could, like, if you're a selfish player, you would make the decision. Like in my case, if I made the decision to just come here and, okay, Troy, you focus on yourself. You're going to be here for such and such time to do this and leave. But that's not the type of person I am. So when I got here and I got to be around these guys and build bonds with them, it's easier to just see, like, okay, we have this common goal that we want to do. And if we're going to work day in and day out together, I'm seeing you more than I see my mom, my dad. So you're becoming a constant in my life. So you're somebody that I wake up and, I grind with. I put my hard time and I put my effort into you. You put your effort into me. So the bond, it just comes. And then on top of the things that we're required to do, we go out on our own and we do extra work. We go out on our own, we do extra film. So that on top of that is what really, brings us together as far as us being transfer players, but also, blended in with the guys that are already here.
I know you guys are doing a lot of meetings and stuff now. You're doing some team building stuff. Do you, in your mind, in your body, can you kind of feel your body clock going, hey, it's almost that time? I mean, it's still about 4 weeks away, but those 4 weeks will go quickly, and then you're into the grind, and then before you know it, you're getting ready for your first game of the season. Can you kind of feel that coming?
Yeah, definitely. Just got the reminder in my head today. I believe it's 59. It's 59 days until a first game. So I'm just, it's winding down. It's always that mental clock is as if you're losing time or you're wasting time. So you have to think about what you're doing with that time that you have. So every time that mental clock goes off, it just puts something in my head that I have to get up and do something, that I have to do something that's related to, achieving that goal or being ready when that 59th day comes.
How is Coach Savage as a strength and conditioning coach? How is he different or similar to the previous coaches you've had in that regard?
I love his energy. His energy is always 120, no matter if he's feeling sick or if he's having the best day. So Coach Savage is going to give you him and 100% of him all times. So seeing him every day and being able to work out and just be around his energy is a blessing.
Speaking of energy, we talked to you on the first show kind of right before the Grove Bowl. We were getting you guys were getting wrapped up with spring. A lot of energy in that defensive coaching staff across the board from Chris Partridge on down. Has that carried over into the offseason? Are you guys kind of going into this I guess getting ready for preseason camp with kind of a pretty excited attitude about what you can be as a defense?
Definitely, because they're putting the excitement into us. Like the way that they're going about the defensive schemes and the plays and the things that they add in and try to tweak so that we can be hitting on all cylinders. It makes you as a player just feel like, okay, I mean, they're putting their all in to make this be right. So I'm going to put my all into bringing out that vision and bringing out what the defense could really be. So just their excitement, it makes me more excited. So I feel like, I mean, we're going to be ready.
I asked Mason Brooks on his show about the defense. I'm going to ask you about the offense because I'm curious. You went against those guys throughout the course of the spring. I know they had a lot of injuries. They've got a quarterback competition that's going on. They've got an offensive line with a bunch of guys kind of moving around in different spots. Some receivers were out, that kind of thing. What did you think of the Ole Miss offense as you were going against it during those 15 practices?
Even though that they did have like nicks and bruises on the outside, they're very versatile as far as when they can take you up top. They can run the ball. They can go fast. They can even go slow. Sometimes they can go big. They showed a lot of, versatility. But in the backfield is what impressed me the most. The way the backs moved, even though sometimes the lineman may get beat or the lineman may miss a block or something like that, the backs finished a lot of their plays, that I would say, and they impressed me the most since I've been here, really, as far as the offense. Zach
Evans, as good of a running back as you've seen?
Great running back. Him right along with our freshman, Jay Sean.
You like Judkins?
Yeah, Kushan Junkins.
What is it you like about him? Mason was talking about him as well.
He was strong. He's strong as an ox, and you wouldn't think until you get right up to him, like he's built like crazy. He's built crazy to be that young and in that size. He's built crazy, and yeah, he got a nice stiff arm, and he's strong. He's strong to be that young little guy.
So I always like to ask, like, get to know you guys as people besides football players. What do you? I heard that one of the things you do a lot is you draw. You like art, just to kind of get away, get your mind off football, unwind, that kind of thing. How did you get into that? How did you learn how to draw?
It was a hobby. Sorry, it was a hobby of my older brother. My older brother is 3 years older than me, so basically everything he did, I tried to latch on to do just to get his approval, just to get his praise. He was my big brother. I looked up to him for everything. So he started to draw, and it kind of I followed him. I just would see him draw cartoons or the little animes that we used to watch, like Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. And me being me, I took it into a personal liking. I started to draw everything. And
you sort of practice by writing cursive, is that right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was writing cursive when I was really before I even got to, I want to say, before they taught me in first grade, I was writing it in kindergarten. Like I was very enhanced at penmanship and stuff like that.
How often do you do that? Is that an everyday thing, or is that just something that you do on occasion? Or
later in life, it became something as just a getaway from whenever life is, coming down hard on me. It was one of those things that I would just get up and draw something that probably would make me happy, or draw like a tattoo or something. Like a lot of people didn't know that the concepts that are on my arm, I kind of drew them out. Maybe not exactly how they look, but I drew them out. Like especially my favorite one that's on my leg, I drew this concept out.
Did you get home much this summer, or have you been in Oxford pretty much the whole time?
I just got back to Oxford the night of the 4th. I was home for a week. Actually, my son's birthday was on June 25th, so I got home the 24th and made it back for his birthday. I took him to Wisconsin to a huge water park.
Is that Wisconsin Dells? Is that what that's called?
Yep, that's where I took
it. I've seen the commercials for that. Was that fun?
Man, it was great. It was great. Me, him, and his mom. We had a great time. It was just like a little family trip or whatever.
What'd you do for the 4th?
For the 4th, I was on the road. I seen a couple of my family members that I didn't get to see while I was back. Letting them know that I was hitting the road. Now, next time they'll probably see me will be during game week or something like that. So I was just saying my goodbyes.
Are you a burger and hot dog guy? Or are you a smoked meat guy, like brisket and ribs and pulled pork and all that stuff?
It could be all. It depends. Depends on what's surveyed out there that's looking the best right now. If there's some ribs out there though, 9 times out of 10, I'm going with ribs first.
So the season rolls around, you guys get cranked up. I know you've been through fall camps before. I refuse to call them fall camps. I got to catch myself because it's too hot. It's not fall. It's preseason camp. When you're going through preseason camp, how do you sort of approach that mentally? Is it all about, hey, getting ready for the season? Is it about getting ready each individual day? Is it about what are you focusing on the depth chart, that kind of thing? I mean, you've done this before. How do you sort of anticipate going into this one?
Okay. My first one, I remember being so nervous for it, thinking that, it's like the audition of your life. This is the audition to get to be able to play this season. So, but being an older guy now, I just know that for me, going into fall camp is when you have to become your best, I would say, in your best shape and in your best that you've been maybe since the season. And I say that to say like you're going day in and day out, back to back. So in the season, you're kind of like that, but you take the load off. You don't practice as hard. You rest your body more. You get the walk Fridays and the spider Thursdays. But during camp, like it's hitting after hitting, day after day after day. So that's when I say that you have to be in your best shape and you have to be at your best, because if you're not, then it's going to show like once day 5, once day 6, once day 7 and 8 comes. But that's why I always pay attention to how my body feels, no matter if it's like an ankle today or a knee the next day. If I feel a crick or a crack, something, anything, I'm going to the training room and I'm trying to get it better. I'm trying to make sure there's nothing wrong, stuff like that. So that's how I look at it.
Well, the next time we talk to you, to be right before it gets started, I'll be kind of curious to see how you're feeling about getting rolling. And we'll talk about some of the first experiences that are coming up your way. Your first time through the SEC. You got 4 home games. You got 4 road games. You guys go to Baton Rouge. You go to College Station. You go to Vanderbilt. You go to Fayetteville. So it'd be a lot of fun to talk about as we get closer to it. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Hope you can get into the sand pits before it gets too terribly hot. And we'll look forward to talking to you on the next edition of the Troy Brown Show.
Yes, sir.
Again, we're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. We tell you this all the time. Different names, same great products, same great services. Trust me on this. If you need air conditioning work, you want to make sure you touch base with Comer or Southern. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, Olive Branch, South Haven, that area, get in touch with the people at Southern, 662-429-4600. 44-29. You will not regret it. Troy, talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
That does it for this edition of the Troy Brown Show. We'll be back with another one just before camp gets started, and then after that, we'll get rolling each and every week of the Ole Miss football season. So for Troy Brown, I'm Neil McCready. Until next time, take care.